TwistaLoop is the name given by EMU for its new Emulator X beat detection and beat manipulation engine. It encompasses over 24 new features, and for the next few minutes we'll take you through them. TwistaLoop is broken into 3 parts: analysis, editing, and playback. The whole process starts with a sample or a group of samples, and we'll start this demo by recording a new sample. And we'll do this by pressing the File tab, going to Acquire Samples, and we'll press Record. On our input, we're going to choose our audio dock input number 1, and that's where I have an EMU MP7 connected. And let's just press play on the MP7 just to check our levels. Okay, that looks good. And we'll press record. And we'll record this sample for maybe 5-6 measures. Good. Press stop. And we'll press OK. We're going to use our gate chop feature to automatically find the start and end point of that sample. And using my ASCII keyboard, I can press the space bar and use that to audition the sample if I want. Why don't we name this? Let's name it MP7. Press OK. And we're going to send it now, and we're going to normalize it when we do this, to our sample folder in our Emulator X. Now once it's in the Emulator X, and I'll press Done, it's now part of our sample folder. There's MP7 right there. And it automatically opens up the sample editor window. And once again, if we hit the space bar, there's our sample. So now let's start using TwistaLoop features. The first thing we want to do is go to Sample Edit, go to Beats, and go to Beat Analysis. So this is the first part of TwistaLoop. And here we'll be able to assign a tempo range. We can assign our time signature, so I've got 4 beats here per bar, and a few other parameters. I'll press OK, and the sample's been analyzed. Now what's been added is tempo information, so you can see here on measure 1 is we have tempo 112. We've also added these green markers, which we call beat markers, so those are right on the down beats. So there's beat 1, measure 1, beat 2, measure 1, beat 3, so forth, and then there's measure 2. And then the red markers are what we call our note markers. And those note markers and beat markers we can use to select sections of the sample. And you can see we can snap to those markers. This makes it very easy to find loops and to audition portions of the sample. So let's say if we just want to audition that, we can do that. Now these note markers, the sensitivity can be changed as well. So we can change it down to 16th notes. We can set it to quarter notes. We can also unchoose the beats button, and then we'll have a percentage, and this will basically start setting the resolution of the note markers based on the transients of the sample. But let's go back to beats. I think that's a little bit easier to use. Now once again we can look at our tempo, and you can see that the tempo from measure 1 to measure 3 has actually changed slightly. So this has been picked up and analyzed in a part of the sample, and this is really important. This is part of the TwistaLoop's tempo mapping feature. Now we're tempo mapping basically on every measure. And with a little more rigid sample like we have now, I may want to choose to have it actually map a little bit more frequent than that. So I can do it by just say right click, go to beat parameters, and set my tempo granularity to 1. And now we're actually tempo mapping on every downbeat. This will be very handy, so when we're playing this back in a preset and we only want to loop on this section, it'll stay accurate. Now, for example, if you're sampling live drummers or vocalists, you probably don't want to have the granularity as rigid as I just did, because you want to have that human feel. So that's why this is a cool feature that gives you the opportunity to choose how frequent the tempo is updated. So now let's use our note markers and beat markers to actually set some loops. So once again, when I select sections, the sample will play in that area. Now I've got a perfect 1-bar loop, and all I have to do is say sample loop, make loop from selection, and I've got my 1 loop. Now in prior versions of Emulator X, you could set 1 loop per sample. In X2, it's unlimited. So now we can keep playing. Let's find a new section. Let's make a loop there. Let's go out of this section. a loop out of there. Another loop there. So we've just made 4 different loops. When I select the loop, you'll see the yellow indicates the active loop. So if I want to play those back, we go back to here. So here we're playing loop number 1, loop number 2, loop 3, loop 4. Now later on we'll be able to assign those loops to a real-time controller, and what I was just doing there, from a keyboard I can actually modulate between the different loop points. Now we have these note markers. We've got them set to quarter notes. We can go in and say eighth note, so we can even, get smaller chunks. And what's nice about these note markers, it allows us to pick sections of a rhythmic sample and do edits. So we could say, okay, that section I want to, let's say, reverse. So we can reverse that. Maybe this section I just want to, adjust the gain. Maybe take it all the way down to 0. So I kind of create a gate. And if we play that back, then you can hear the edits we did. So it makes it really useful having these note markers to help you do sample editing. So this is kind of the sample edit portion of TwistaLoop. We set tempos, we set note markers, we set beat markers, and we use those note markers and beat markers to help edit the sample. Let's go to the playback portion of TwistaLoop, where we can actually start playing these samples from a keyboard and using some of the other TwistaLoop features found in the preset. So it starts off by creating a preset. We'll say new preset, and we'll go to our voices zones page. And there's our sample, so all I have to do is click on that sample. Let me go back to voices zones, sorry. Go to that sample and just drag it to a note. I just dragged it to C1. So from my export of 49, I can now play that loop. So remember, we did that edit to the sample. And let's say I want to take that and put that on another key. So we're going to put that same sample on C1 and D1. And you can see it's very easy to get that sample in a playable preset. Let's go to C1 and go to our Regions tab. And this is another area where we can view the sample and then decide what sections of the sample we want to play. So remember, we have that first edit where we have that gate. So maybe I don't want that gate to be played. Maybe I want it to be kind of a little bit more normal. So why don't I go to measure 3 and just say I want to do a 1-bar loop there. If I set my direction to forward loop, so now when I play, it's just going to play that section of the sample. Now the same sample on D2 or D1, I can just loop on that certain section right there. And I can play them together. Now all this that I'm doing here, using note markers, beat markers, and setting the loop offsets or playback offsets, are all non-destructive. This is not doing anything to the sample. So I could take that same sample again, let's drag it to E3, go to our regions, and we can go in and zoom in. Now I'm using the mouse knob on my mouse to zoom in and zoom out. I can take just a section. You know how we had the direction playing forward? Let's say I just want to have it go backwards. So do a backward loop. So once again, non-editing. So I can really use this region offset section to do all kinds of unique ways to play the sample back. Let's take that same sample and let's put it on F1. Now another unique feature that's in TwistaLoop is, you know how we have our sensitivity? Let's say we set that to eighth notes. And let's select the first measure. Okay. If we right click, we can do what's a feature called Region Explode. And basically what it's going to do is going to take each one of those eighth note sections and place it on a new key. And you can tell it where to start. I'm going to say G1. It's going to do it on white keys and press OK. So now it just made a bunch of new voices, and each one of these samples, it's basically automated the process, so we don't have to go through the process of assigning each offset. So now I'm going to start on G1. I could play that loop back by playing eighth notes. You play it backwards. So it gives you a lot of unique ways to play back that sample. So now I'm going to show you how you can utilize multiple samples that have different tempos and lock them all together. So I've got another preset called TwistaLoop, and it already has a few samples assigned to it. And we're actually going to take our MP7 sample and put it in there as well. So let me find a place to put it. So I'm going to put it right there. Okay. Okay, we got that. Now we've got a couple of the samples. Here's another drum loop that I'm going to play for the Export 49. And I've got like a vocal rap type thing going. Cruising with the best, 'cause the best is cruising down the coast. Okay, so we got those three. Now if we play them together. Cruising with the best, 'cause the best is cruising. You can see it's a train wreck. If we look at our vocal sample, we can see that the tempo is about 89. And if we go to our drum sample, the other drum loop, we can see that's at 122. And remember, our other sample's at 112. If we just click on Emulator X and we go to our main playback screen, there's a feature called TwistaLoop Override. Currently it's set not set. As soon as we turn it on, then this tempo right here is going to be the master tempo. So we got it set at 110. So now if I play all those back at the same time, cruising with the best, 'cause the best is cruising down the coast of kites, extreme bikinis, twisting on some rhymes with the best buds. Now they're all playing back at the same time. Cruising with the best, now the best we can speed it up and slow it down in real time. Twisting on some rhymes with my best buds. So you can see that I'm speeding it up, slowing it down. Cruising with the best, 'cause the best is cruising down the coast of kites, extreme bikinis, twisting on some rhymes with my best buds. 'Cause you never know when your time's done. Cruising with the best, 'cause the best is cruising. We can also change pitch without affecting the time.
You never know when your time's done.
Cruising with the best, 'cause the best is cruising down the coast of kites, extreme bikinis, twisting on some rhymes with my best buds. 'Cause you never know when your time is done.
So very, very accurate tempo mapping and pitch detection when it comes to the TwistaLoop playback engine. Now the last thing I want to show you is in our TwistaLoop, I'm going to go to Voices Zones, and I'm going to jump to this particular voice. And I'm going to go to my voice processing page. Now here in my patch chords, I've assigned a MIDI controller. There it is, MIDI controller P, to do loop select. So I'm going to play back the sample, and you're going to hear as I move the MIDI controller that I'm actually going to go through the different loops on that sample. And if we go back to Voices Zones, we could see, okay, this is called Twista 2.1. Let's go to that sample. You can see we've got 8 different loops set up, 8 different loop pointers. And now I've got a real-time controller. So check this out. I'm going to play it back. Cruising with the best, 'cause the best is cruising. Best of buds, 'cause your best of buds, 'cause your time is done. Check out controller P. As you see, I'm moving it. Never know when you're twisting on some rhymes with my 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 best of buds. 'Cause you never know when your time is done. Time is done. Time is done. Never know when you're twisting on some rhymes with my best, 'cause the 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 best is cruising. Bikinis, bikinis, cruising with the best, 'cause the best is cruising down the coast of kites, upstream bikinis, twisting on some rhymes with my best of buds. 'Cause you never know when your time is done. Cruising with the best, 'cause the best is cruising, drink bikinis, best of buds. 'Cause you never know when your time is done. Time is done. So you can see how powerful that is. So we've showed you the analysis, we've showed you the editing portion, we showed you the playback of TwistaLoop. Hopefully this gives you a better understanding of this really cool feature that's now part of the Emulator X2.